tell the ambulances to drive to Stellenbosch at least. Let them at least be on their way to Stellies. And
then we'll figure out how to
we'll figure it out.
Locate me, yeah.
And what was concerning me is that she was overly relaxed. And then she asked me a question that really made me worry. She says, "Did you call here this morning? Is this a prank call?" Well, that's when I'm like, I'm finished. I was like, I'm finished. I'm actually going to die here. And even though I had hope of actually making it, you know. So she says to me, "Is this a prank call? Did you call here this morning? Etc., etc." This is not a joke. I'm telling her, "Woman, I am going to die if you do not help me. I'm going to die if you don't help me." She says, okay. Let me just hang on. She puts the phone down, or she puts me on hold or whatever. And then she is away. And then eventually she gets back and she says, "What did you say the name of the place is? Can you spell that for me? You know, how are you contacting me, etc.? Do you have any injuries?" I'm telling the woman, I can't even pick up my phone. I'm speaking to you on loudspeaker. I've got injuries, but I can't exactly tell where or what. I've fallen off the cliff. I need you to come and help me. Just get people to come out to Yonkazok. And then eventually she tells me, "Look, we can't find the place." I can't exactly remember what she was saying, but she was telling me that there was an issue. She couldn't get to where I was.
Yeah.
So I told her, "Okay, you know what? Take these numbers down. You call these people. These people will. You guys can talk." Because here's the thing: I also didn't know how my battery was.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was sitting battery wise. You know, my phone could die. I could pass out. So I gave her Simon's number, and don't ask me how, but I know people's numbers off by heart. That's another thing that also.
Guys, please learn at least one person's number. Flip, man.
Yeah, I know people's numbers off by heart, and I think just being a maths guy. Maybe I was just good with numbers since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, dates and number and phone numbers and number plates and stuff. Those are just things that I've just always had the ability to remember. And Simon's number, I just knew it. So I just give this woman the number, and she's even more suspicious now. She's like, "How do you know these numbers off the top of your head?" Anyway, I told her, "Take these numbers, phone these people. They will at least be able to. They'll know exactly where I am, or at least they'll be able to give you
a rough."
So I thought to myself, you know what? I should actually give her the number of the company I worked for at the time. They could at least vouch for. They would at least know where to take on take the matter forward.
Yeah.
And I thought about my parents, but there's no point giving my parents' number all the way in the Eastern Cape. My parents
they're just gonna panic.
Panic and confusion.
Yeah,
you know?
That's not gonna help.
So they eventually tried Simon. Simon wasn't picking up his phone as usual. And so eventually they got through to one of the people, and they put everyone on a conference call. And there's a guy, Dave, is a guy that he studied in Stellenbosch, and he's the one who actually knows that mountain very well. So eventually I asked for him on the phone. I spoke to him, and as I was speaking to him, they were using that information to come and try and find me. And Dave, avid mountain biker, or avid cyclist rather, and I explained as much as I could. I was like, "Look, I remember seeing the river, or the dam rather. I remember seeing the dam. That's the last thing I saw. It was on my left-hand side. It was appearing around the mountain as I was going around, blah, blah." And he was like, okay. And I was giving him weird instructions. Like, when you're at the gate, go to the restaurant over there, get the tin of jam, get an empty tin of jam, tie it to your bike with a string so that as you're riding, I can actually hear you. Because here's the thing, I also was losing, I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear anything, right? Yeah. So I needed to be able to hear when he was at least coming by.
And what time is this?
This is, I estimate that I fell around 3:30 in the afternoon. By the time I actually got out of there, it was like 7ish. It's going to 6:30, going to 7.
So when you make the call, what time is it?
Maybe about 45 minutes after. So maybe 4:15, maybe 4:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get on the conference call. You're telling Dave these things. They're on the call too.
Yeah, listening, on their way, blah, blah.
Okay.
And then Dave eventually gets to me.
Yeah.
I can hear him. He's calling out my name. I'm calling him back. He's like, okay. He tells me, "Dude, you're too far down. I'll come back. Let me go get help. I'll come back." I'm like, "Dave, don't leave me here. Do not leave me here. Come here. Come down now."
Wait. Is this on the phone?
No. He eventually finds me.
Oh, he found you?
Yeah.
Oh,
he eventually finds me. So David Watson. Shout out to that guy. He finds me, or he sees my bike. Anyway, or he hears me, comes to the edge, sees the bike down there. And he's like, "Okay, I see your bike, but I can't see you. Where are you?" So I told him from the bike, come to the right, towards the right, further down towards the right. He's like, "Cool." He's like, "Look, JJ, let me go get help. I'll come back. We need to figure out a way of how to pull you out of there. I'm like, Dave, just hike down here. Come on, I need you here. Come down. He's like, okay, fine. So he gets off his bike. I can hear him trying to get through. Trying to get down.
Does he have a harness or something? Or it's just
nothing. Clean hiking and holding onto bushes.
So what's the idea if he gets to you? How is he gonna pull you out of there?
No. It's impossible.
Okay.
Impossible.
All right.
So he gets to me, and
he gets to you. Okay.
He gets to me eventually, and I tell him, Dave, and he's like literally looking at me like swearing every word in the, he's like, dude, like I can't believe this. I'm like trying to calm him down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dave, I need you to pull my leg out from where it is. I was dying, and he says to me, I'm not touching you. I'm like, Dave, pull my leg out. And he's like, I told him, listen, I'm probably broken anyway. Just pull it.
What's another breakage?
Yeah, what's another breakage? Just pull the thing. He pulls my leg. He pulls my leg out, and I felt such a sense of relief. But at the same time, he was so disgusted with what he had seen or was seeing or whatever. He starts feeling lightheaded. He's lying down as well. He's not feeling well. He's like, I'm like, Dave, come now. You need to buck up. You need to figure out how we're going to get out of here. I need you to phone guys, keep on calling, call these 911 people.
Does he have network?
I don't even know. To be honest, at that point, I didn't know. I was also, at that point, I think once I'd been found, I was sort of in and out of, not consciousness per se, but I was, you can imagine the exhaustion, the pain, etc.
And mentally too, dude.
Yeah, just the mental. But funny enough, I was keeping it together, surprisingly. And mountain rangers came eventually, and 2 colored guys. I mean, God bless them, but they were not helping my situation. Justice, my bro. I hope you have medical aid, brah. Can you feel your legs, brah? Justice. This is like 20 meter drop, brah.
Oh, man.
No. Those guys were like not. They were making me feel dead.
Oh, man.
And they were like looking over me, sweating all over me. Yeah, it was special. It was special. And they're asking, do you know if he's on medical aid? And they're like, yeah, he must be medical aid. And they were like, dude, this guy is like, he's messed up. And yeah, no. They sat there and just gave me chats the whole time. But for the most part, I was like, do you guys have painkillers? They put a harness around they gave me a harness for my neck. But for the most part, they just sat and joined me for the waiting period. And then Simon came, and people would come. It was Simon, Thomas, Dave, and then these 2 mountain rangers. And those were the guys that really waited through for me.
Yeah.
And bringing water. When they brought water, Dave needed water first. And I kept asking my guys, how far? Where's the ambulance? Like I'm getting faint. I'm like, Eventually,
so they're on the road though. They didn't come down, like Simon and them.
No. Simon and them came. They hiked down as well.
Okay.
Simon and them hiked down. Simon actually started clearing away because he was trying to figure out exactly how they were going to get me out.
Okay.
So he started clearing a hiking trail, like sort of for down there. And by the time the guys arrived, they brought that capsule. The same one they use on the rugby games when someone's injured. Yeah. Same capsules. Gooed me in there. Man, that was painful. That was tragic. These guys are hiking with me in a capsule, and they're walking, up they had to take me down and then back up back up to a certain point where I could access the ambulance. It was excruciating, absolutely excruciating. And I remember them doing like checks for my finger breakers. They did like some damage checks, and then they took me up. They strapped me into the ambulance, and when the ambulance started moving, I was just feeling my pelvis just opening up, like with every bump. I just couldn't do it. I told the guys stop. They were like, "Don't worry, we're almost there." I'm like, "No."
They didn't give you any morphine or anything.
Nothing. I'm like, "Stop the vehicle. I just can't. I can't." I'm like, there's something wrong with my pelvis. The pain is too much. So I was like, okay, fine. They opened up. They lifted me up. They put a sheet underneath, and they under my butt, and they basically tied it just to bring my pelvis together. I asked this guy, I'm like, how old are you? He tells me he's 27. I'm looking at this guy. I'm thinking, my life is in the hands of a 27-year-old. I'm like, I need like people from 40 plus, please. I'm like, no. And for the first time, I actually felt like I was judging people.
Yeah.
And that's because my life was.
But fair enough.
My life depended on it,
enough,
right? And I just don't think I'm that kind of guy. And they take me to Stellenbosch Medic. They gave me morphine. Or they gave me something. I get to Stellenbosch Medic Clinic. And I'm thinking, I mean, Stellenbosch is like one of the best medical institutions in the country, blah, blah. They get there, they go for x-rays. You can imagine the x-ray was just, it was a nightmare. My arm, they would take it out this way, that way, this way, a second arm this way, that way.
Still no morphine or anything at this point.
Dude, I was done. I was actually in and out of consciousness. There I was in and out of consciousness. This girl was just finishing me. And she was saying, like, every time a scan would come up, she would be like, yo, sure, that was a bad accident, eh? And I'm asking her, what are you seeing? And she's like, I can't tell you. Wait for the doctor.
Well, how about you don't give me any reaction there?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So anyway, I get back into the casualty area, and the guy calls Simon, and I'll tell Simon that, listen, all the fragments, all these fragments you're seeing here that look like powder, that's what's left of his bone.
Looks like powder.
It looked like powder. It literally looked like dust. And he said to Simon that, look, we can't fix this here. This is not a fracture. This can't be fixed at this hospital. When he said that, I knew that this is a very, very serious situation. Very serious. So I grew up in a community of doctors, being Ugandan.
Yeah. Oh man. Jeez.
And I told Simon, listen, get on the phone, call my parents, and tell them to organize. Tell them what's happened. Send me to either Eastern Cape or KZN. Yeah, we've got great orthopedic surgeons that could fix my bones. Ugandan guys, yeah.
No, that's all y'all know.
That's what I was thinking. No offense to the doctors in Stellenbosch, but I'm like, these guys, no, let's leave these guys. Let's send me home.
Yeah.
And Simon was like, okay. He takes my phone, and he's panicking as well. Hey, takes my phone. Okay, cool. He comes back. Should I call your mom or your dad? I'm like,
and this is the first time your parents are hearing of this, right?
This is the first time my parents are hearing of this. So he comes back. I'm like, actually, call my dad, then call Stella, my sister, and don't call my mom.
Your big sister?
Yeah, my older sister. I'm like, call my dad first, then call my sister. And he's like, okay, fine. Tries to get through. Whatever happened. He got through to my dad, got through to Stella. Yeah, let's just say, my sister flew in the following morning, etc. They transferred me from there, brought me to Cape Town's Mediclinic. And I thought I'd get there and straight surgery, right?
Yeah.
No. I sat in Bosch Mediclinic for at least a week before surgery actually took place. The first surgery took place.
A week?
A week.
And what was the hold-up?
They say, first of all, you need to plan around the surgery. You need to find doctors. They had to fly doctors in for my pelvis. It wasn't just that these doctors on standby. I didn't know that there were actually people that specialize in upper limb. I honestly had no idea. Yeah. I was basically going into a completely new realm. Discovery is calling me, telling me, I hope you know that the doctors you've chosen are not going to be fully covered because of your cover. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I mean, what else am I supposed to do? It's not like any doctor can help me.
So I should choose a Tom, Dick, and Jerry now. Like, is that what you're telling me?
Exactly. So, unfortunately, medical aid was not going to cover everything.
How much they cover, percentage-wise?
Let's say 75.
75%?
75.
What is the total bill?
Total bill is close to 500,000.
500k?
Yeah, 500.
How many surgeries?
3.
So you do your first surgery a week after?
A week after. Mm-hmm. Wait a couple of days.
So what was that surgery? Was for the pelvis?
For the arms.
Arms. Are your arms the ones that are powder?
That's the one that are powder. The actual pelvis was like a clean break. So like the side, this entire side just came off the pelvis. Like it was a split.
Yeah.
So they put that one together, but this one they actually had to, take out all the pieces that were there. And then they put a metal piece that actually pivots, and they basically reattach the bones onto that thing to make it another functioning elbow type situation. And then this one was just a normal putting in pins back to bring the bones back together. And on this one, on both of them, I broke my radial heads. The radial head is what allows your arms to actually twist like that.
Yeah.
So this one was just a twisting situation. This one I lost twisting and bending. So you can imagine I actually had more physio than I did have surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physio is absolutely crucial at that point.
It's so crucial. I mean, I completely underestimated just how much I needed. So I was in physio till December. So imagine from April. through to December. I mean, that's all I did.
And by December, how mobile were you?
By December, I was actually hundreds, and
you were nice.
I was good. By December, I was good.
Completely.
I mean, completely is an understatement. Completely would be an overstatement.
Right.
But the doctor told me it was going to take me a year to even get my range back, to be using my arms and grabbing things and whatnot. A year, 12 months.
Yeah.
Within 4 months, I was an abled body.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And do you still have the metal?
No,
that's permanent.
There for life.
So your bone doesn't grow back or anything like that.
It doesn't.
Okay. It doesn't. It's not how bones work apparently.
No. They do in most cases. If it was a fracture.
Okay.
If it was a fracture, but because this is was shattered, it's actual shattered bone. There's a lot of section with actual bone missing in this part and this part. So stuff like arthritis and whatnot's probably inevitable.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you feel, and now is there any like remnants of like pain that you feel if you do something? Like where?
So this elbow.
Yeah.
A lot. So I mean, if you look here, I mean this is not normal. This pointy edge here is not normal.
Okay. Yeah.
This is, my elbows just sort of look different. I feel this one.
Yeah, that one's pointy.
This one is very protruding. So I've got metal from about there, that runs down here and hooks at the back here. So this here, if I rest my elbow down like this, there's very thin skin here. So it's like it's pressing against my skin.
On your skin, yeah.
So I feel that, and then my pelvis as well. It's just sensitive. Like I don't like sitting down anymore, or when I'm lying down, like maybe at certain angles, preferably at certain angles. But if I sit at more than a 90-degree angle, it's just like there's a plate that can stick out, and it just feels very uncomfortable. So I prefer standing. When it's gonna rain, I generally feel it in this arm, even this one, but this one is most sensitive to.
What is it with rain and joints?
I don't actually understand what it is, but you just know. You just feel this like very weird feeling inside you.
So you're basically a rainmaker now. You can
guys text me to double check when they're planning an outdoor activity. They're like, JJ, how's the weather looking tomorrow? I'm like, I know, thumbs up.
Yeah, we're good. Oh,
thumbs
damn.
up. Yeah.
And you don't have a limp. So like when you told me that story, I was so shocked that this person who broke so much, just seems normal to me.
So get this: when I went into surgery for my pelvis, you get a bit of time to talk to the doctor before you pass out. And I told him, I've got a very high-profile job. I can't afford to limp. And he asked me, what do you do? And I told him, I manage your retirement fund. Your retirement fund. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a stellar job. I genuinely believe that I had the best guys in the country who actually worked on me.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. When I went to physio, everyone was like, "Wow, if we get a patient from Dr. Duncan Maguire, we know that it was a very serious situation, but we also know that it's a very good job done." Yeah.
So where was he called in from?
So Maguire's here. He's based in Cape Town.
Okay.
He's the one that did my limbs, and then the guy from Joburg. Unfortunately, I obviously met him on the day he did my surgery, but I don't remember a thing. Okay. And he flew back, and I've never seen him since. So I actually don't know the guy who flew in to do my pelvis, but shout out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
Shout out to him.
No, I'm glad you're good now. And in terms of so the payment for the rest of the
best believe we all know where my bonus went for that day.
That bonus came in handy. Yeah.
Came in handy.
Came in clutch.
Came in handy, and funny enough, I actually paid over and above that. So, luckily, there's a thing on medical aid called PMB. Prescribed minimum benefit. If the doctors can prove that you were either going to have died or you would have loss of limb, then medical aid is obligated.
Obliged, yeah.
Yeah, they're obliged to pay in full.
Okay.
So they paid in full for after this PMB's story, they then reimbursed for a lot of things, especially got to with my limbs, because they were like, my limbs otherwise would have been cut off had I not got that expensive help that I got. And then there are a few other things that I had to just settle myself. Yeah.
Whew, yeah. And what other lessons have you realized, like, from this whole experience?
The reality is that if that hadn't happened to me, I probably wouldn't be moving to Kenya to start my own company right now.
So how did that tie into each other?
So I conceived the idea of starting my own company. I mean, I've always wanted to run my own business, but I just didn't know what.
Yeah.
And when I went to Kenya, I knew that that's where I wanted to run a business from, because I saw the economy, I saw the market, I saw the people, I saw the culture, etc. But actually getting up to do it, unless you understand what time is and what life is, you have an appreciation for it and just how fickle it actually is. You can kick the can down the road every January, every December, just thinking, okay, next year, putting things off. And we're young and we live in such a great time. If you think about all the centuries that have come before us, as a black man in Africa or anywhere else, this is literally the best time to ever be alive, right? And it's and hopefully it's going to get better, right? Yeah. But we are very lucky that we live in a time where we can decide we want to go there to do this, we want to go here to do that, and we live. Some of us live. We've been privileged to have a very nice life, you know, and it's very easy to just get lazy and think, I'm going to stay here, get paid,
go through the motions.
Yeah. Go party on the weekends and repeats every week, every week, every month, every year. It's so easy. But when something like that happens to you, I mean, my framework of my departure point was thinking, imagine if I had this accident in East Africa. Nobody was going to come and look for me. Yeah. Nobody was going to come and look for me. If I had this accident in East Africa, even if the doctors who could have helped me in East Africa, access to them would have been a problem. I mean, there's a litany of reasons I can give you as to why it's worth sacrificing short-term comforts to go to a country that you truly believe has the potential and say, I'm going to be the pioneer to make sure that people there understand that private healthcare like this can be available to everyone. You know, the luxury of getting on a mountain bike and exploring some of the great landscapes in East Africa
East Africa is amazing.
I mean, there's an abundance of beauty. You can't even see it all in one holiday. It's just not possible. You know?
I haven't been there, but I know.
Yeah, I mean, over a lifetime, there's so many people there who just can't see everything, who haven't seen everything. You know, and there's just no reason why we don't go and be the pioneers of people.
And it's our job to do that.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It literally is.
It really is. Yeah.
It literally is. I would honestly just rather die being that guy that's remembered for X, Y, Z, as opposed to that guy who just had this nice cushy life living in the suburbs with 2.1 children.
You won't be remembered.
In other words, at all. They won't be remembered at all.
Yeah.
I'd be somewhere in the pecking order of people within my family group. But yeah. So that's what the accident's done for me. It's a proper wake up call.
That's a hell of a wake up call.
It's a proper wake up call, and also maybe, you know, down mountain bike, especially when you got kids.
Yeah,
it's probably not worth it. I look at
it's
guys,
not recommendable.
Yeah, let's put it this way. I mean, I don't have anything against the sport. I just think that people must go into it understanding exactly what they're doing. There's actually almost no room for error. I've been cycling since I was like 8, 9. Yeah. On hills in the Eastern Cape and whatnot. But I mean, I just never imagined that you could acquire such injuries from that sport. Never ever did it occur to me that I could be that badly injured. Never, ever, never. And if I had known, or if I had imagined it, I don't think I would have taken as many risks as I did. And unfortunately, riding is one of those things where the more you do it, the better you become at it, and therefore
the more riskier things you do.
The more riskier things you do. It's just like driving.
Exactly.
Yeah, just like driving.
The better driver you are, you're gonna take that turn. Like
you tend to push the car to its limits, and unfortunately, there is a point where there's a tipping point, and it's usually very ugly. So I'm very fortunate to have all my limbs, all my legs. I mean, all my limbs and my mind. Brain damage is a real thing as well. I could have poked my eyes out. I mean, so many things could have happened. I mean, there's an injury I got, just a scratch. Oh, not a scratch, but I pierced my skin significantly around my ribs. And the doctor was like, you could have punctured your lung. Easily.
And at that point, with the amount of time you were down there.
Exactly. And what I did when I was in hospital, I read significantly about other people that have been injured on that very mountain. I mean, 2 weeks after me, a girl died. 2 weeks after that, someone came out paraplegic. I mean, there are so many stories. Yonkers Hook. A helicopter lifting people out of first waterfall, second waterfall. It's really bad. Some people decide to go take a swim and they just slip and fall.
I mean, I saw a video of an American chick who, I don't know if you've seen it, but she was hiking with her friends, and then there was a little waterfall on there. And then she wanted to just look over it just to see what was happening. She didn't realize there was a little, how there's little bit of water flowing through it, and then there's a bit of algae. So it's a bit slippery.
Yeah, slippery.
So she stands on it, and then she slips. And then she had a GoPro on her chest. So she released the video of her falling, and so you see the falling. Then you see she screams at first, and then silence. I think maybe she passed out. I don't know.
Did she make it?
Yeah, she made it. Yeah. She broke ribs and all that. Yeah. She fell into the water, and then she got pulled out by. Luckily, she was with people, so they saw it happen instantly. Went down, pulled her out. She didn't drown, luckily. But yeah. Stuff like that happens, like you're saying.
Yeah. And another thing is that what the doctor said to me.
Yeah.
Your physical fitness is so important. So even though I had all those injuries, broken bones, blah, 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 I didn't tear a single muscle. And it's that's one thing that happens to most people. You come in, yes, we can fix your bones, but your muscles have to repair themselves. And I didn't shred a single muscle. Purely because, and I mean, I started pumping iron when I was 15, 16, and I mean it's heavy stuff. I mean, you're lifting, you're doing it daily, 6 days a week. You're taking on protein supplements, etc. And when I started working, I didn't have as much time for it. But your body's built to a certain point, and it helped me on that day. Without realizing. It paid off. All those years paid off. I lost it all. I lost 12 kilograms in 1 month. 12 kilograms in 1 month. And the doctor was like, most of that's your muscle mass. Yeah. Your muscle mass is gone. You're just lying in one position.
Because you're not using them.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine I couldn't brush my teeth. I couldn't rub my eyes.
Were people doing that for you?
Forget going to the toilet. I mean, that was a privilege.
And an itch?
Nothing. I couldn't do anything. My arms went. This right arm was in a complete cast. And then this one was in a sling. Couldn't do anything. So itches, everything. Scratching, brushing teeth, feeding, going to the toilet, everything. I had to do it from my bed, and other people had to do it for me. Until, I mean, eventually I got very stubborn. And I was like, I'm going to get into a shower. I'm getting in a shower by myself. Yeah, and they were like, okay, and then what? How are you going to do anything in there? But
figure it out.
Eventually you just can't
get sick of it.
Yeah, you get sick of it.
Look, man, I'm glad you made it out, bro. Straight up. I remember when you told me that story, I was in shock. Because if someone had told me that this dude standing here had this happen to him, I wouldn't have, you can't guess it. Because I would expect a limp or something.
Something.
But hey, I'm glad, bro. Straight up. Yeah. And you're living to tell the story. And a lot of people will be inspired or be helped by it and refrain away from mountain biking.
Funny enough, I'm actually planning on starting a cycling club in Nairobi.
Great.
Yeah. Let's see how that pans out. Prime Circle will have a medical practitioner on site, by the way.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big. Prime Circle, covering all angles, just like a circle does. 360 degrees.
360.
All right, man. Thank you so much for telling your story, and I'm pretty sure it'll inspire some people, and hopefully they don't have to go through what you went through to then, realize the dream that you're going to be living very soon.
Right.
So, thanks so much for joining and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And any socials? I remember last time you said Prime Circle _ Africa. That's your Instagram.
So Prime Circle _Africa.
Do you have a personal Instagram?
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
All right, cool.
If I had one, I probably would have been. It would have been easier to help Prime Circles, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm outsource. I'm gonna outsource all the
social stuff.
All the social.
Is there a reason why you're not on Instagram?
To be honest, I'm just not inclined that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. I was probably either I am a nerd or I was a nerd.
Okay.
But I'm sure even nerds have Instagram, right?
Yeah, I'm a nerd. I do. But also, I need people to listen to my podcast. So
really?
that's, if you see my Instagram, it's literally a lot of my podcast stuff. Because I need people to listen to it. So, you know.
Yeah. Look, I'm a very social guy. I'm very outgoing. But my strength is one-on-one interactions. Not so much. Like, I'm not like a social media person. Like,
that makes sense.
Chatting and like... Usually when I text people, it's like straight to the point.
Yeah.
And then I remember I probably should have said, hi, how are you?
Yes.
Yeah. So my social gestures are not great, but yeah. So like, face to face. One-on-one.
Fair enough. I can attest to that for sure. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, both on Instagram, or follow us on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube, our channel, Amateur Opinions. You can catch us there. And I'll catch y'all next week. My personal Instagram is Magic Deuce. You already know. And thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And all the best in your new venture and staying healthy. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. These are Amateur Opinions. If you dig, you can take them. If you don't, you can leave them. Peace.